What's up, everyone, and welcome into the latest episode where it is my honor and privilege to introduce a special guest joining this episode, and that is Army football slapback Stratton Fuller. How you doing, Stratton?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for joining. I know things have been a little hectic on your side of things, but how's things been going at West Point? How was your weekend? Hope things are going really well for you.
Yeah, this second semester has been going well. As a freshman, I'm figuring it out academically. I'm getting into the flow, rhythm, and I'm really finding it. And off-season workouts have been going well as well.
Is it kind of nice finding a little bit of that flow, kind of getting a little bit used to what it's like in academy?
Yeah, you definitely need to be a good time management,
Yeah.
especially as a student here. You have a lot of aspects. You have the sports side if you're an athlete here. The academics is obviously rigorous, and then you have the military side that you got to balance as well. So, time management, if you don't have it, it's something that you certainly learn, and I definitely had to learn it throughout my first semester and now the second semester.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. But also, you specifically mentioned a little bit of the spring workouts happening. I know spring football is happening in a little less than 3 weeks. How excited are you for spring football coming off of your first football season at Army?
Yeah, I'm really excited for spring football. We've been working as a unit. We've been working really hard. Sprints, lifts, and spring ball is just a culmination leading up to the spring game
Yeah.
towards the end of April. So every all the work put in, it matters. Studying the plays, getting in the playbook, continue to lift and run fast.
Does kind of going through the workouts, kind of the lifts, make you miss football a little bit?
Yeah, because you're doing all this stuff, to prep for
Yeah.
actually playing on the field, and it kind of gets you antsy to actually put the pads on and and get out there and get the ball in your hands. But now there's patience. You got to be patient. Patience is a virtue, and uh, good thing good things come to those who wait. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm hoping in.
Yeah, and you really only have to have patience for another 3 weeks, and then obviously you start getting to practice a little bit. You have the spring game, like you specifically mentioned. Then you have summer, and then next thing you know, football is right around the corner. You're doing fall football, and we got games going again. I don't know about you, but it's kind of weird not having football, and I'm just itching to watch football again. And then obviously you're probably itching to get back on that field once again.
Yeah, it stinks while it's gone, but it always seems to come back quicker than you think. So I have a feeling that it'll fly by just like that.
I hope so, but I also know that
Yeah.
football, you've been playing it for a little while and kind of your journey to West Point. Just talk about like how you got started in football, just kind of how you got recruited to West Point, just really all the way up through your football journey.
Yeah, so like most football players, I've been playing since started playing tackle in 5th grade, but I played flag even before that, so kinda like my whole life. Loved it. My dad, he started coaching, in my local high school around, like, 2015, 2016.
Okay.
So I was about 3rd grader then, and I saw him coach. I got to be the ball boy from, like, 3rd grade all the way up until my 8th grade year, so I really, got close with the team and those guys, and just made me
Yeah.
appreciate the game more and love it, and just wanting to be out on that field myself. And my 4 years of high school, I got to do that. And what's funny about me being in an army is, growing up, I never really thought I'd see myself as a cadet or an academy
Yeah.
student, just because not really talked about much, especially in my area. But um, my junior year, around this time, I got a call from one of the coaches, and that led up leading to an offer.
Yeah.
And I still didn't know much about them at the time, but later on, a few months later, I'd take a visit, and on that visit, I'd commit. So, and then here I am now. So it's kind
Exactly.
of how it works out.
It's one of those things, at least in my opinion, I've obviously never gone on an official visit to Army. But is it one of those things of like once you kind of go on an official visit, it's really hard not to commit to a school like West Point?
Yeah, it honestly it is because it's kind of got everything you want in a school. It's
Yeah,
obviously a historic football program, a lot of success, and then obviously like quality of life after the academy. Like, not only do you serve your country and you can stay in for as long as you like, but just opportunities galore, like endless opportunities.
Yeah.
And you're doing something that's fulfilling too. So
Yeah, it's also a little bit of an offense that you're kind of familiar with a little bit. It's an offense that you ran very similar to what you did in high school. Was that a little bit of an intrigue for you and like saying, hey, it's maybe not the exact same, but it's pretty similar?
yeah, I mean it's so yeah. In high school, we kind of had the flex bone style, two slot backs, and obviously Army, has that ground and pound, two slot back formation as well, and it's kind of something I'm used to. I was kind of a receiver, like a true receiver growing up, and
Okay.
my senior year of high school, I switched to like a hybrid receiver and slot, so it kind of prepped me well for coming here, and then I feel like it's translated well so far.
Yeah, I was just going to say, playing slapback at Army, you have to be able to run the ball. You also have to be able to catch the ball. It's a position that you basically have to do everything. You also have to be physical as well. So you truly kind of have to love the offensive side of the ball
Yeah.
compared to any other position because you're going to get tackled a lot, you're going to get hit a lot, but you're also going to get the ball in your hands quite a bit.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we obviously here we emphasize being physical and blocking, and you can't be afraid to hit, and you also got to make plays when you get the opportunity to. So that's what our slot back room tries to do. Make plays every play, whether it's blocking, put someone on the ground, just doing your role.
Yeah.
If you do get the ball, make a play. So that's what we preach.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't necessarily think of Army as a big play offense, but for a lot of like the big plays that you guys have had, it truly seems like it's a slapback making that play.
Yeah, I mean, this past season, you saw it with Noah. I mean,
Yeah,
he had a lot of big plays through the air and on the ground, and even our other slots like Samari Howard, he had one heck of a play against I want to say UAB. He hurdled that guy. He's not even he's not known for being tall, but he
yeah.
can get up there. He makes plays too. Like our room, we can make plays. So that's what we want to be as a position group.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely want to get into obviously the offense a little bit more. Maybe not like too much in it. We don't want to give too much away, but there's also a lot of it on film too. But you also mentioned obviously like when you're younger, you never consider really thought that you're going to choose the academy route. Like it's not really something that was talked about too often. What really sold you on West Point? What really sold you on going to Army? Was it the coaches? Was it just kind of everything that like they really taught? Because you specifically mentioned like the academics is rigorous. You also have the opportunities after school. Did it kind of make you nervous at all going through all of that? Or was it more of like once you talk to them, you're like, it's going to be different, but like this is something and this is somewhere I want to be?
Yeah, so just to give you some context on my family, like I'm no one in my family has military experience or served, so I'm kind of like the first to be going through any military route,
Yeah.
and especially an academy. So, obviously making that choice, it was kind of like not necessarily a shock, but just a surprise for the family. Like, wow, we're gonna have grandson, son going to academy. So
Yeah.
first to do that, and just what sold me, like I told you I'd never thought about doing it when I was younger, even going through high school, and then it was when I got the offer. I was on a call with one of the coaches at the time, and he's just telling me all these opportunities, and he really cared. He seemed like he genuinely cared about me and like um his players, and then um I actually got to talk with Coach Drinkle in person at a different camp
Okay.
in person. So yeah, that Coach Drinkle, he's at Central Michigan now, but
Yeah.
I got to talk to him in person with my mom and dad, um, and that was a great conversation. He answered a lot of the questions that um, many people have, many
Yeah.
other recruits have when asking about Army and the academy, just because you're not used to the military side.
Yeah.
And he kind of reassured my family and I, and then I took the visit, and the visit's what kind of sealed the deal for me, seeing everything
Yeah.
in person. So yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Coach Drinko's a great guy, great coach, obviously doing great things at Central Michigan, which obviously makes me happy being kind of a podcast that mostly talks about Michigan. But love to hear that he was a big help. Obviously, the other coaching staff as well. You specifically mentioned it was kind of a shock when you made that decision. Obviously, you've gone through with it. You've been there for a little while. But like when you make that decision, obviously there's the ultimate shock factor of it, but it really truly hits you once you step on campus day one. Talk
Yeah.
about like what that was like when you stepped on campus day one, kind of going through basic training, just trying to understand and kind of getting that experience for firsthand compared to maybe like the football side of things.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone wants to see, you can watch on YouTube what we call it our days like. Obviously, it's an intense day for the incoming freshman class at West Point. Definitely a shock to me. I tried to prepare as well as I could, but
Yeah,
when you're actually going through it, you know, people are yelling at you. You don't know what to do. Um, it's definitely a learning experience.
yeah,
Um, like looking back now, it was funny at the time. I was stressed out, but everyone gets through it. So there's
yeah,
about 1,200 freshmen. And they get through it, and you go through basic training together. You build close bonds during that time, and I'm still good friends with a lot of the people
yeah.
uh, that I went through basic training with. We're close. Some of my roommates, obviously, and people in my company. So no, it's a unique experience. It's a very unique experience.
Yeah, I've kind of heard the saying, it's like the one thing you do in your life that you would never want to do again, but like
Yeah,
it's kind of like looking back at it like a funny experience at times.
yeah. No, that's a good way to describe it for sure.
How long did it kind of take you to kind of like settle in, kind of get used to life, especially during basic training? Then once after basic training, you obviously start plebe year. What has life been like as a plebe and just kind of a day to day look like for you specifically?
Yeah. So the academy structure, it's designed to mimic like the rank and chain of command that you see in like the actual operational army.
Yeah,
So like plebes, we are on the low end of rank, of course, just because that's how you start off. But um, so like we don't have necessarily the same privileges as maybe a firstie, which is a
yeah,
senior, or like a cow, which is a junior would. Um, but we have our own responsibilities, and we have to just do those. And this first year is kind of about followership, being a good being a good soldier, so then you can eventually lead because they preach a lot of the time. Like, leaders also have to do the hard stuff too, and you got to start
yeah,
somewhere. So, and this is just where you start, and you build up from there. And um, if you follow the rules, you do what you're told, you do it well and execute well,
yeah.
you'll find success here. And I've been able to figure that out over the course of my time. Maybe not right away,
Yeah.
but everyone figures it out eventually. So that's what I would say this freshman year's been like so far. It's been great though. It really has.
Yeah, it's also going to come with its challenges. It's also going to come with times of stress. And when you go through that, especially like early on when it was such a big change, I know one thing that is extremely important to you and important to your life is your faith. Just talk about how big your faith has been, really how it's kind of shaped who you are and just how important faith was during that time of difficulty and how it still is and how it still not only helps you outside of football but how it also helps you in football as well.
Yeah, my faith in Jesus is the thing that keeps me grounded for sure. Um, there's been some hard times early in the first semester, just figuring things out. Felt like things were out the wazoo and out of control, but
Yeah,
um, that's when you lean on the Lord the most. Lean not on your own understanding, and
yeah,
I learned that the hard way. High school senior year, life can be kind of easy at times. Don't really know what you have, and then it's gone. You're on your own. You're in basic training,
yeah,
and you got to figure it out. And without the Lord guiding me, and like if I feel like if I didn't have my foundation on Him, I think I'd probably quit. But just knowing that I have Him, and like in the end, like Jesus is going to be Lord of all, no matter what.
yeah.
Like that's what I put my hope in. And if you have your hope in that, I don't think you can get through anything, obviously. So It's been
Exactly.
the most important thing, bar none here.
Yeah, and he has a plan for you, right? Like it's not always going to be sunshine
Yeah.
and rainbows. It's not always going. It's going to be a roller coaster. There's
Yeah.
days where there's good days. There's days where there's not good days, and it's about trusting his plan. It's about like not necessarily knowing what it is, but knowing that he's not going to put you in situations that that you can't handle. And there might be times where it seems like it can be, but that's when you can truly go back to him and he'll be there to help guide you through it. If that means prayer, if that means Bible, if that means um, other people that believe the same things as you. It's
Yeah.
just such a powerful belief that truly can help you through anything.
Yeah. And just to add on to that, West Point I think does a great job of giving opportunities for the faith. Obviously, we have FCA here, which is a national and international organization, and it's
Yeah,
here, just like any other school or university. And it's Tuesday mornings. Love going to that. There's BCM, Baptist Christian Ministries. There's this thing called Navigators. Obviously, they have the Cadet Chapel every Sunday. They have
yeah.
buses to other churches locally. There's a lot of faith opportunities here as well. That's been uh, really fun to participate in.
And how cool is it being a part of those groups with people that have similar beliefs, similar mindsets that you can talk to, especially when things aren't going as well as you were hoping for?
Yeah, I mean it's good fellowship with other believers is and unity in that is something that Jesus calls us to do and be in fellowship with others and obviously you can lean on a brother in Christ or a sister in Christ to get you through a hard time and when you have that bond
Yeah,
because we're all kind of going through the same experience if you're going through a harder time someone can
yeah.
help you through it and give you encouragement. It's pretty great.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's almost like kind of embracing the suck. Like everyone's kind of gone
Yeah.
through what you've gone through. Maybe not exact same situations, but like everyone's experienced being a plebe. If you're a plebe first year or cow, like whatever class you are in, everyone's kind of experienced similar things. So then you obviously have that fellowship there that they can not only help you out in those situations, you also have the similar beliefs that you can really kind of guide you through those situations as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely something I know I look forward to at church every Sunday, being around that group of people. So it's great.
Yeah, and then you're also around the football team as well,
Yeah.
which is another group of people. It's a brotherhood, right? Like a lot of people throw the idea of a brotherhood around, especially all of college athletics. There's no brotherhood like the academies, in my opinion, especially with like NIL transfer portal. I definitely want to ask you about those things, kind of how you guys have continued to stay successful when everything kind of around you has changed. But playing football is kind of a little bit back to normal, right? Like it's like the one time a day where it feels like, hey, this is something I've been doing my whole life. What was the transition like to Army football? And did you really have any kind of like welcome to college moments when you first got there?
Yeah, I think every freshman college athlete would say this. It's just the intensity level is so much different from high school to college. Just the lifts, everything you do, practices especially.
Yeah,
Everything's purposed and everything has purpose and everything's planned out. It's go 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 go. So you got to be prepared and ready. And the lifts are high energy, high effort. We're in there
yeah.
yelling and having fun. And no, it's high intensity. It's good stuff. If I had to say one welcome to Army football moment, um, I don't know, being in the weight room for the first time. We have this little thing we start every workout. Our strength coach will come in, blow the whistle, and we'll all start yelling and doing high knees at the same time. And it's a loud. Uh, that weight room's loud and no one can
Yeah.
hear anything. It's fun. But now, yeah, that's one of my welcome to college football moments. It was pretty intense, but it was also fun.
Was that an early morning lift for you guys?
We do have some early morning lifts,
Okay.
but that was like our first, just like after class lift, and it was
Okay.
intense. Yeah,
I was just gonna say I could just imagine that being like the first morning lift, like you're
Yeah.
exhausted, and then you're doing this, and it just wakes you right up, and it's like let's just go. But obviously, you kind of have to have that type of energy. Obviously, everyone there is really passionate. Everyone's really excited to play football. But the one thing about Army specifically, especially offense, is it's about doing your job, right? It's about doing the minute details. It's about really, if you don't do your job, it's not going to go typically well because Army is kind of known for running 2, 3 yards every single play, trying to grind the other team down. How fun is it playing that type of offense, though? Like everyone has to do their job. It might not necessarily be extremely explosive, but like it has to be a little bit fun watching the defense just continue to get tired. And then in the fourth quarter, you're just slowly but surely getting a push on the offensive line, and you just kind of see the other defense give up. Like that's why I love Army's offense and kind of the academies is because you can slowly see the offense just continue to open up holes. And I truly think it's the best thing in the world. Watching the other team can't do anything against what you
Yeah.
guys do.
Yeah, I mean, we love those long drives, those long, like 21 play drives, 15 play drives. We love those, and that's what we aim to do.
Yeah,
We try to play harder for longer. We believe if we can play harder than our opponent for longer than them, that's our edge, and that's how we can win games. And we obviously try to be the least penalized team. That goes with being the most disciplined team. And
yep,
Coach Munkin does a really good job of instilling that in us. And I mean, I think if you look at the stats or wherever you can find them, I mean, we're one of the fewest penalized teams in the nation just about every year. So
yep.
obviously, what Coach Munkin and the staff and all the other coaches are doing in regards to discipline is really working. And we like to grind it out and win, just like you said.
Yeah, and you also have to have a lot of trust in your guys as well. Like the guys up front, you also have a lot of trust kind of in your position, the quarterback, especially because like there might be some times where you don't necessarily know if you're getting the ball. That quarterback really needs to make a last second decision to pitch it to you, and you have to be ready. Talk a little bit about just kind of the trust you have in the guys in front of you, the trust you have in the quarterback, and just how important that trust is compared to just the importance of doing your job because you kind of have to have both of those.
Yeah. So football, like on any team, but especially here at Army, like you have to trust your old lineman that they're going to make the right block and they're going to do it well, and you got to trust your quarterback that he's going to do the right thing, and the receivers, and then the slot backs, and then the fullback. Like everyone has their 1/11th is what we say, and if everyone does their 1/11th on the offensive side of the ball, and then defensive side of the ball, like that's how the best units operate. And
Yeah,
especially like you can tie it into the military side, like you're gonna trust that person, to be like an officer in the Army one day.
yeah,
You can trust them on the football field as well, and that's why football here is important because it teaches lessons in life. It's obviously good physically, but it also teaches
yeah,
militarily lessons. Um, and that's obviously our Army. It's a big deal. So
yeah,
yeah, trust is huge. Trust is huge, and you trust that everyone's gonna do their job, um, and that's how the offense flows.
yeah. And trust obviously builds the brotherhood that you guys have.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about just kind of that, like the brotherhood that you guys have on the team from being a plebe all the way to the seniors.
Yeah, brotherhood. I think it truly is brotherhood. Obviously, people say it, from other programs, and I'm
Yeah,
not going to say that they're wrong, but just with a lot of turnover in other programs, people leaving, like 30, 40 players at a time. We just don't have that here.
yeah.
Um, Everyone, our coaching staff, and Munkin, he makes everyone. We do a little game in the fall camp, and we got to learn everyone's name and hometown. So
Okay.
everyone here knows everyone's first and last name and hometown. Like we all know each other. It's not just we're not just teammates only. Like we're actually friends. So
Yeah,
coming in, I had zero friends, but now like I have a guaranteed 100 and whatever friends just because they're all the guys on the team. So
yeah.
it's more than we're just more than teammates. We're actually friends too, which is awesome.
How long did it take you to remember everyone's first,
Yeah.
last name, and city? That had to not be extremely easy.
Yeah, it's definitely it sounds like a taller task than what it is. But if you're just intentional about it and you talk to people and just ask them, being a incoming freshman, a lot of older guys were asking me constantly, like every day, like remind me, and eventually it stuck, and that's
Yeah.
what you gotta do, and like stuff like that. It builds brotherhood and it builds our team up, and it makes everyone interconnected from the freshmen to the team captains and the seniors and everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, but surprisingly, it doesn't take as long as you think. It took me about, I think, 2.5 weeks to learn first and last name in hometown. So
That's not bad.
yeah, not bad at all.
I was just gonna say, you're with the same guys for hours on end. It's
Yeah,
probably pretty easy at some point to remember everyone's name, and then obviously, like you said, it kind of makes you all friends. It kind of builds off the brotherhood, and then, like you specifically mentioned, like there's a lot of universities across the entire country that 30, 40 people leave, 30, 40 people come in. Like at Army, you might have, at Navy, you might have, at Air Force, you might have like maybe one, two at most. And guess what? They're not going to get replaced with anyone. No one's going to come transfer in. Like these are brothers, these are guys that you're going to be with for 4 years at Army. That has to be another kind of unique thing that truly makes Army that much more kind of attractive because you kind of know what you have after school, but you also know what you have in that locker room on that team year in and year out.
yeah, exactly. I mean, that just adds to the specialness of the academies, and particularly Army. Like,
Yeah,
not only are you learn these guys' names, but they're actually going to stay here, and you're gonna be teammates with them for obviously the freshman 4 years, and then
yeah.
like you're gonna be with these guys your whole time here. So it's like the interconnectedness within the team is something special here.
Yeah, not only the interconnectedness, but also Army's a big tradition school. Like the academics is top tier, one of the best, if not the best in the country. I know, obviously, like you guys, Navy kind of, Air Force kind of go back and forth a little bit, but I'll say best academics in the country. But it's also a very traditional school, right? And it comes with its rivalries. And we know once a year there's rivalry between you guys and Navy.
Mhm.
How fun was your first ever Army Navy game? Talk a little bit about kind of the experience leading up to that, just kind of understanding, really like taking it all in for the first time, because it's probably quite a bit different getting told what it's about and then kind of being on the sidelines for the game.
Yeah, I mean, people hype it up, and this is a game that it's not overhyped at all. Like it
No,
lives up to the hype. It definitely did this year too. We played at the Baltimore Ravens Stadium. Just being there, it was a really great experience.
yeah,
And then the traditions within the game alone, awesome. You got the Secretary of War, P.
yeah,
Hegseth. I mean, obviously the president goes. He went this year. You have both of every student from both schools are there. Obviously, it's a packed stadium.
yeah.
Um, and then the game itself, you prepare for so long, specifically for this game, and you know, you leave it out there on the field like this is the make or break game, and
Yeah,
there really is few games like it. There's few
I
games
agree.
like it. So yeah.
I personally think it's the best game all year. It's a game that I always look forward to every single year. And it's one of those games like just throw out the records, right? Like it doesn't matter what everyone's record is prior. You know it's going to
Yeah.
be a really close. You know it's going to be a really competitive game. And unfortunately, you guys fell a little bit short this year. Hopefully that flips next year. Hopefully you guys will be singing second. I know that is a big thing, that kind of the pride that comes with singing second. Just obviously representing the school, representing the other cadets as well. Did it kind of take you a little while to like soak it all in, or like right when you ran out of the tunnel, that's like when everything kind of hit you for the game?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. You arrive there, you're seeing all the people flow in, and you're seeing just the bigness of the stadium and the atmosphere. But you gotta stay level headed, because if you can't lose sight of what's the game plan. You can't lose sight of the opponent. You can't get overwhelmed with emotions to where you lose your fundamentals. And then when you get out there, it's focus time. Your mindset has to shift. So
Yeah.
no, yeah, getting out of the tunnel, you definitely it's a mindset shift.
Yeah, it's one of those things of like you realize how big of a game is and just how much hype that truly comes with it because it's the only game that day, right? Like there's nothing else. It's a
Yeah.
standalone game. I truly hope it continues to stay that way. I don't necessarily like the discussions of other games happening that day. I'm a very big component of Army Navy staying the way it is because I it's truly a special game, right? Like it's the only game in the entire country for the most part, outside of like when you guys play like Air Force and stuff like that, that everyone on that field is willing to sacrifice their life, right? Like everyone on that field is going to serve in the military after. And I just think it's such a unique thing. And I think it's something that needs to kind of stay the way it is. And that's a big reason why I love it. It's just because you know that you might not get a high scoring game. You know, you might not get a bunch of big plays, but what you're going to get is you're going to get physicality. You're going to get old school football. You're going to kind of get rid of a little bit of like what's kind of happening in college athletics nowadays. I specifically mentioned earlier, and this is why I want to kind of talk to you a little bit about this, is just college football, like the landscape, transfers, schools moving to other conferences, NIL. That doesn't happen at the academies. That's not happening at Army. That's not happening at Navy. That's not happening at Air Force. It's not happening. And you guys still have had a ton of success despite that. How have you guys been so successful at that? Because there's other schools that like might look at what you guys are doing and say you guys are going to fall behind. Like it's just something that you can't have happen. But at the same time, you continue to be successful year in and year out. And I think that's the coolest part of it.
Yeah, I mean, it may sound cliche, but like at the end of the day, like the disciplined teams, and like I mentioned earlier, like if you can play harder and longer for somebody else, like our we have a big thing like fourth quarter warrior. Like you got to win the fourth quarter, and that's like one of the staples of our program because like yeah, we may not have the 4-star, the 5-star guys, not
Yeah,
the other academies, but like we're gonna we're gonna win the fourth quarter, and we're gonna you know those extra plays that matter at the long drives where you're tired and we're not because we prepped for so long to be
yeah,
masters of the fourth quarter. Like that's our edge and our discipline. Like the fewest penalty. Like we want to be the least penalized team in the nation every year.
yeah,
Like that's one of our goals, and those things add up. And obviously our trust in each other, like you mentioned earlier, that plays into the offense. Like everyone, like those long drives happen because of that.
yeah,
You know, we trust our offense, trust the defense, defense trust the offense. We got smart football players. Obviously, you have to be pretty smart to make it here. So,
yeah,
smart football players, and we can also play. Like, we may not be the highest rated guys coming out of high school, but we can still play football. So,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not only about discipline, but it's about development as well. It's like the one place or the couple places in the entire country for the most part that everyone develops. Like the importance of developing from when you first start to kind of what you end up becoming, and then obviously end up becoming an officer in the Army. Development is huge. And it's just really kind of through that development is a big continued success of what you guys had.
yeah, and like just credit to our staff. Like they really do develop, and um, some other programs. I don't want to speak on other programs, but like obviously people nowadays are kind of less athletes in particular,
Yeah,
maybe less patient when it comes to developing. And obviously the guys here, I think, do a better job of seeing the long term
yeah,
and are willing to be developed um, here rather than just leaving after a year or two because they didn't start or whatever.
yeah.
I think that's another advantage that we have. We have guys that are willing, who can see the big picture and have patience and be developed rather than just quitting because they didn't, necessarily see the results they wanted. I think that's
Yeah,
another advantage that we have here.
Yeah, you can see the countless juniors, seniors that didn't get very much playing time or any playing time prior. They get to their junior, senior year, and then they become instant impact guys. It's about
Mhm.
really having that patience, about having that development, trusting the plan for the future. Like if you work hard, if you put in your time, you're going to get an opportunity at some point. And at a lot of other schools, people that aren't playing by their junior year, It's probably like either goodbye or I'm only saying because I love the school, I've always wanted to go to the school. So I think development is another huge part. And I love that part of it, right? Because it truly shows you that development is still a thing. And it truly, again, the development kind of goes back to the brotherhood.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're bought in, it's harder to leave. Like if you're bought
Yeah,
into a system, and like a lot of the guys here are bought in. Like it's not like a fake. Because if it was fake, then people would be leaving. But it's obviously not because
yeah,
people are staying and they believe in what we got going on here. And
yep,
even if whether you do play early or whether you don't play early, like you'll get an opportunity eventually. You just got
yeah,
to keep doing your part within our system, and um, you know, doing your one, whether it's 1/11th if you play, if you're a starter and you contribute on the offense, or whether it's just you're on the scout team and it's your 1/50th, like
yeah.
including everybody. Like you got to do your part. That's why everyone's bought in here, and that's again one of the reasons why it makes it special here.
Yeah. And you also have to, when you get the opportunity, to take advantage of it because there's going to be people right
Yeah.
behind you
Yep.
competing for that spot, competing for that opportunity. So it's again kind of that iron sharpen iron thing. Everyone wants to get better, everyone wants to develop. And then when you get the opportunity to, you truly want to shine and make some impact when you get the chance to.
Yeah. Iron sharpens iron is a great way to describe that. It's exactly how it goes.
Absolutely. I do want to talk a little bit about your development before we kind of wrap up here shortly. We talked about your faith. We talked about your experience so far through your plebe year. What have you not only learned about yourself while also having to go through kind of the transformation at West Point to not only the current leader that you are, but also a future leader in the Army?
Yeah. It still feels like I have a lot of development, till I get that, opportunity to commission and be an officer. But um this place, it'll mold you into that. And if I it's happened. I mean, thousands of people graduated before me. And a lot of people haven't had any military experience, just like me going in, and they've been able to be successful in the military. And I think I've learned being able to balance like the football side here.
Yeah,
Obviously, that's a big commitment in itself, and you got the academic commitment, and then the some of the military commitment. Um, I've learned that I can do it, and it's not it's not going to be easy all the time. But like when the more you do hard things, the easier it is to do the hard things. And
yeah,
the more you try to cut the corners or try to quit, the easier the next time it's going to be to quit. And I think more than anything, I've learned that lesson this past year. And um obviously leaning on the Lord and trusting in Him, because I didn't think I'd come to the academy, but
yeah,
His plan obviously it was for me. And I don't know, maybe I don't know why He had me come here as of now, but I'm starting to see that I'm really enjoying it here. And um it's for a reason. And
yeah.
uh, I'm so thankful that He brought me here, because I want to have the friends I had, I want to have the experience I had, want to meet the staff, the coaches, everybody. So obviously it is for a reason, and I didn't see it then, but now I see it. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you said, it's a part of his plan. It's something that you necessarily weren't 100% sure exactly what was going to happen when you stepped on campus, but it truly seems like you've loved it so far. Obviously, learned a lot, grown a lot, but it's a part of the journey, right? And you're just at the very beginning part of your journey. And I think you're going to have a very successful one. I'm really excited to continue to watch you play at Army the next couple of years. Hopefully, we'll see some big plays from you in the future.
yeah,
Hopefully,
hopefully.
we'll see you win a couple of Army Navy games, sing second maybe a couple of times in the future. But yeah, no, I really do think you're going to be very successful whatever you do, and I think your faith is going to be a big part of it. I think obviously the development, the growth you're going to go through, and I think it's just a part of your journey.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just buying in to the culture here, and not getting impatient, and just listen to what the coaches say.
Yeah,
Obviously, I got a lot to develop, and with spring ball coming up, we'll see how preparation turns into performance. So
exactly.
it'll be a good experience.
Yeah, and before we wrap up, I do want to ask you one question, then I'll wrap it up with giving you an opportunity to talk a little bit about people that have impact in your life, people that have helped you kind of get to where you are currently. But before we get to that, for anyone that's listening that was in a very similar situation to you like a year or two ago, where you're going through the recruiting process, you don't know exactly where you're going to end up, what kind of advice would you offer to those football players going through the recruiting process, especially if they want to go to an academy?
Yeah, I was always told through my recruiting process to go to somewhere that you're wanted. I mean, obviously that's sounds obvious, but
Yeah,
people kind of want to chase, obviously the big name places, and that's good, but you got to go to somewhere that you're wanted because they'll obviously care about you, and I think the academies do a great job of that. Obviously, especially Army, I think they care about their players a lot,
yeah,
and treat them well, and so that's a big piece of advice. Go where you're wanted. Don't limit yourself. I told you I didn't think an academy, let alone Army, would be um kind of a possibility. Like early in my high school career, thinking about playing college, but
yeah,
um obviously that shifted. I'm
yeah,
here, and I like it here. Like I'm not no plan on leaving at all. Like it's God's plan, and if you don't, even if you don't have a faith necessarily, like don't limit yourself because you could miss out on a great opportunity. And
yeah,
um I mean, there's talented guys everywhere. People go everywhere, so
yeah.
yeah, you can't limit yourself.
Yeah, go where you feel like you belong, go where you feel like it's home. And to you, it truly feels like West Point was home. And now that's exactly what is. And you still have a couple more years left to go. You still have less than 100 days before your plebe year is over. I'm sure you're probably pretty excited for that. Obviously, future opportunities in the summer as well. Get to do training, get to try to figure out what you want to do going forward. But yeah, I really want to wrap up with giving you an opportunity to just talk about and shout out some people that have been really like impactful for you and kind of like the journey and how far you've gotten and just really kind of the support that they've given you.
Yeah, I've been very blessed to have a lot of people pour into me and support me, and uh, obviously, like my whole life, my mom and dad have. I mean, of course, they've been um, amazing. They've
Yeah,
taught me everything that led me here, and like they instilled in me the what I talked about earlier. Like if you quit early on, like it's going to be easier to quit and quit and quit. But if you can push through, like reward is at the end of the tunnel, and like if you put in the work now, it'll make for easy life later. But if you
yeah,
make it easy now, it'll make a hard life later. And they really instilled that in me, and I really took that. And then regarding like football, I've had a lot of people pour into me. I've had trainers, and back home there's a receiver trainer for me, and he really helped me, get my name out there in recruiting, and really helped me out there. And he was very supportive of me coming to Army. Uh, typically he's never really had a guy that gone to an academy, but he was really supportive of it.
yeah,
Um, he's been great to me. He really helped me out quite a bit. I'm thankful to him, Dre Muhammad, and then the coaches here, I'd say so far have helped me out, like especially early on in the summer training. There's a thing called mass athletics, and they'd pull us out for a bit, and we'd be at the football facility for like 30 minutes, and then we'd have to come back eventually. But it was good talking to them, getting some normalcy.
yeah,
Um, and then yeah, it's being able to just talk to them,
yeah.
and obviously the guys here, uh, shared experience with a lot of the guys, so they kind of understand. They're going through it with you, and so obviously they help you get through it.
Exactly. Love that. Loved seeing that support. Loved seeing that growth. I know that's going to continue to happen. I know you're really looking forward to that. I obviously know you're looking forward to the spring, fall next year, and then a couple of years beyond that. But truly, really appreciate you joining, man. It's been a ton of fun. Really appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your busy schedule. I know you don't have a ton of free time, but one thing that I hope is that this was worth your time. One thing I always say to anyone that ever joins as well is I would love to have you on again in the future. If that means a few years down the road, if that means trying to find a time to do it again, great. If not, then that's completely all right. But truly, really appreciate you joining. Best of luck in the future at West Point. Best of luck in football as well. I think you guys are going to continue to do great things, and I think Army is going to do great things. I'm really excited to watch you guys over the next couple of years, see how you guys do, and then obviously really excited for the Army Navy game as well. But I know you're going to do great things in football. I know you're going to do great things afterwards, and I really appreciate you joining.
No, yeah, thank you. I appreciate you reaching out to me and interviewing and caring about Army football, and just willing to invite me on. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
Absolutely. And that is a wrap to the latest episode. Thank you again for Stratton for joining, and tune in to the next episode.